Hello, welcome. I'm gonna get this live stream started. So, here we go. All right. How's everyone doing today? We're gonna live stream this build. So this is the LH Stinger. For those of you who didn't join the first live stream, this is a kit by FYSETC. I always forget how to say that, but it's gonna look like this when it's done. And it's gonna be really fast. And it's basically like an Ender 3 with everything cranked up to 100. And I got you this nice overhead view so we can see everything that's going on. So this isn't my usual live streaming setup, but let me know how it works. I'm having to do this on cellular data, so hopefully everything works well. I'm gonna get logged into my onto my computer here, and I'll monitor the chat and all that stuff. So, whoa, okay, there we go. Could it be the wrong Benchy with that crazy Ender 3? Probably not. I mean, highly modified printers will always have a bit of an edge because people are just attaching all sorts of crazy stuff to them. But I think this one will be very fast and probably the fastest machine that you can buy as a kit, with some caveats there. We'll just call it the fastest Bedslinger that you can buy as either pre-assembled or as a kit. Okay, so in the last stream I was just familiarizing myself with the design. So I have the frame, and I was looking through all the instructions on how to build it. It's just a T frame, just like an Ender 3. And it's got a bunch of metal brackets holding it all together. And I printed out all of these parts that are going to be used in the assembly. These were printed in ABS on the Creality K1C. So that printer's been doing a great job for me. I haven't had any failed prints, just running it stock with the stock build plate. Something that I did yesterday is I cleaned up these linear rails. So I bought this little ultrasonic cleaner. This is a nice little ultrasonic cleaner. It's not wireless. I don't have the cable plugged in right now. Cable plugs in right there, and then you're able to clean out things that are greasy. It doesn't work for greasy people, but it works for greasy components. And the nice thing about this is it's small and compact, and I can just put these, these in here and get those cleaned out. So I cleaned them and lubricated them with some white lithium grease, and they seem to be pretty nice. So a part of this kit is you get all of these linear rails, and they're preloaded depending on the axis and the motion system. And yeah, cleaning them is a little bit annoying. I lost a couple balls because when you take these apart, sometimes you can lose the balls inside of the bearings. But they're all running really nice now after cleaning and lubing them. Yeah, those are all running really nice. And I don't know the exact reasons of why you use preloaded ball bearings. I think it makes it a little more precise. So you'll have less artifacts when the printer's rapidly changing directions because those bearings are already making full contact. So there's no slop, or there's much less slop. Cool, so if anyone's on the Discord, or if you're on the LH Discord or my Discord, if you can let those people know that we're getting started with the stream, maybe we can get some more people in. But I'm glad to have you guys with me while we go through this assembly process. Now, I did a Trident live stream. I'm going to pull up the instructions for how to assemble this thing right now, so I can see what's going on. I did the Trident live stream a couple days ago, and that was actually pretty easy to put together once you have all the parts. This one, I heard it's a little more challenging to put together, but I'll be the judge of that. So let me look up the LH Stinger assembly GitHub. So they recommend opening up the LH Stinger GitHub with the assembly instructions, as well as the CAD model. So I'll open those up. How's everybody doing today? This is a little earlier than I normally live stream, but I have some time now, so let's do it. I'm just trying to find all the assembly instructions so that I can get started here. Trying to find where LH dropped those instructions for me. Yeah, I'm having trouble finding that. If LH joins, then I will take his advice, but for now I think I'm just going to use the instructions, the assembly instructions on the GitHub. So I probably showed you that video upside down, but no, I showed it to you right side up. But these are the instructions I'll be going through. Let's see. Assembly guide, here we go. Okay, so they have this nice Wikipedia style article here with pictures on how to put everything together. Now, they have these little T-slot nut holders that they recommend installing just to make sure things don't move around unintentionally. I'm not sure if I'll need those. I probably should use them. There's lots of fiddly bits in this machine from the looks of it. Alright, so I think the first thing I'm going to do is get everything straightened up and tighten the bolts. I'm going to use my trusty 1-2-3 block to help make sure things are somewhat square. So here we go. What I like about this compared to the Voron design is that they're using metal parts for most of the frame. The frame being stiff is the most important part of the printer because that's what lets you run these at high speeds without it wobbling all over the place. Alright, and I will get the live stream chat up so I can see what all of you awesome people are saying. Okay, what's the advantage of a fast printer? That's a good question. Well, you see, it's faster, so that lets you print things faster. There's definitely a point of diminishing returns, though, and a lot of printers are past that point, and like the FL Sun T1 and S1. They're very fast, but you know, you're having a bit of a trade-off with price and size. What I like about this one is it's a nice, small, compact printer that's also very fast. So this should be good for just having on your desk and making prototypes. But it's a little loud, so like when it's moving full speed, it's I think it's going to be pretty noisy. But you can dial it back and have like a quiet profile. Let's have this thing running at not insane speeds, but pretty darn fast speeds. I'm just going to make sure everything's all flat and square here. Looks pretty good. Yeah, there's going to be a lot of checking squareness as I put this frame together, because this is the most important part, to have square and strong. Alright, those two are done. Let's flip it over. Get these bolts in the bottom tightened up. Now I have a feeling this build is going to take a while. I don't think anyone's given me an estimate on exactly how long it's going to take, but I'm going to assume it's going to be like a 15 to 20 hour build. Good morning, Loss Inc. Glad to see there's so many 3D printer people up this early. On the West Coast, it's going to be like 5 a.m., almost 6. So we're probably getting the European / some East Coast crowd in today. Or just insomniacs from all over the world, which is probably the more likely case. I really like how I can just torque these bolts down without having to worry about plastic parts stripping or breaking. Just good old aluminum. I even have a torque wrench I could break out if I really want to dial in all those things, but I think I'll be okay with this. Won't the printer break faster when you print the fastest? Yeah, probably. Why is it so much faster than anything else? What magic did they use? Mainly it has to do with their focus on making the frame as stiff as possible. Building I call this like a picture frame type frame, is a lot easier to specify beefy components than if you have a square frame. And also, the bed on this is super lightweight. So normally on a Bedslinger type design, the bed is going to be your limiting factor in terms of how fast you can move the printer and accelerate it. But on this printer, they're using carbon fiber bed carriage, and even a carbon fiber heated bed. And that's going to weigh, it's probably going to be a little bit lighter than the tool head, or maybe similar weight to the tool head, which means that instead of the bed slowing you down, basically nothing's slowing you down. And also they're using 2 motors to drive this bed back and forth, so even if there's a little bit of added weight from the printed part, you're still going to be able to move it very fast. Okay, so I think next up I want to attach my my linear rails here to the frame. I'll kind of see what's going on with the assembly instructions here. Bogey down, can you help somehow? Well, just, you know, boost those numbers. We got all the viewers. Okay, we got a Florida man or woman in here. Someone from Germany, Australia, no. Okay. I'm serving the underserved population of live stream viewers. So, yeah, now it's telling me to attach the linear rails. So first up, I'm going to attach the z-axis. So to do that, I will have to remove this top beam and then slide those linear rails down into the frame. So let's do that. I've said it before and I'll say it again, this type of kit printer isn't for everyone. If you just want something that works, there's a lot of other options that you'll be happier with. But if you want something that you can modify and something that will be higher performing than anything else out there, then maybe a kit like this could be right for you. All right. Alright, let's get these linear rails installed. So I've got multiple options for linear rails. We've got these shorter ones and these longer ones. I'm not sure which ones to use for which. I'm assuming that these shorter ones are for the z-axis, because when I set them on here for the y-axis, they look a little short. Yeah, it says Z-rail is the 250 millimeter long ones. These are 300 millimeters long, so we're going to attach these over here on the sides. And to do that, I need a bunch of nuts and bolts. So 3x8, we'll get those out of my lovely bag of parts here. Use some drop-in T-nuts. I'm not sure if I'll need those. It says to use square T-nuts, so I will find those as well. These use my square T-nuts, M3 size. And here's our M3 by 12s. We want M3 by 8s. So how's the live stream quality? You think this is workable? Or should I find another internet connection? I'm having trouble finding my bolts down here. Oh, here they are. Oh no. Here's M3 by 8 button head cap screws. That's not what we want though. M3. Oh, they're M3 by 12 for the. Yeah, okay. So those M3 by 12s are what we need. Let me get those back. Here we go. M3 by 12s. Okay. And I have one of those handy magnetic parts holders, I think. If not, I'll just use this to store my fasteners. This is my ultrasonic cleaner / fastener holder now. Alright, so it looks like for the Z-rails I need 6 of the nut and bolt pair. So there's 6 there. Six there. And 12 of these. No, I'm just building it in like a temporary workspace here. I've got some other stuff set up, so I'll be moving around a little bit as we go. So here we go, one of these. I'm just kind of guesstimating where each of these bolts goes. Okay, so there's an extra here. I guess I'll put 2 in the middle. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There we go. Yeah, so there's no like perfectly even spacing for adding 6 bolts here. I'll see what the assembly guide recommends. Doesn't really show me what to do, but I will. Yeah, this is fine. We just have 2 in the middle that are a little bit closer, and then regular spacing on everything else. I've got a really cool workspace lined up though, so I want to show you guys basically my new little studio area that I'll have in a couple days, I think. Oh yeah. FYSETC stuff tends to not be the best quality, but if I run into any issues, I'll let you know. FYSETC definitely isn't the industry leader in terms of part quality. But so far, everything here has been pretty good. All the fasteners and the linear rails and the extrusion seem nice. When we get to the fans, we'll reevaluate the niceness of everything. Okay, so let's see where this goes. I need just like a picture of the whole printer to reference. Okay, so it looks like the linear rails, alright, go right here. These are not that difficult to assemble here. Yeah, that wasn't bad. Sometimes when you have linear rails with like 100 little bolts and small T-slot nuts and you need to line up, it's a little annoying, but these larger nuts are easier to handle. I got them all loaded up here. So I'm not tightening these down yet, I'm just getting them somewhat threaded in. Okay, got that all done. And I'll put one of these little plugs in so that the rail doesn't fall off the bottom. And I'll do the same on the other side here. He sacrifices them to 3D printing gods to make more printers. Yes. I throw the printers away, throw them off the cliff into the abyss. I also have access to a X1C, so I might do some X1C content, as well as Bambu Lab A1 Mini. I picked one of those up on sale, so I'll do some stuff with that. And I've got a couple of videos already filmed. I'll be posting those soon. I just need to put some ads into those videos. I know you guys love ads, but they're important for the financial health of the channel. So I gotta run some ads every now and then. You guys like Squarespace? How about JLC PCB? Those are the best services money can buy, if you ask me. Said somewhat ironically because I'm not doing an ad right now. But I genuinely do use both of those products and did before sponsorship, so I don't feel too bad for shilling it. Raid Shadow Legends, we can do some of that. I should reach out to them. I don't know if Raid Shadow Legends does that many ads anymore. I remember there was an era of YouTube where everybody was doing Raid Shadow Legends. Now it's like BetterHelp and Factor Meals. Oh, and Brilliant and Skillshare. There's all sorts of things I can shill for. advertise and endorse. All right, we got those 8 all lined up. Time to install. I like that these are using square nuts instead of these drop-in nuts, also known as hammerhead nuts. The square nuts are just much more reliable in terms of when you get them assembled, they're stiffer, and also you don't have to worry about them not being clocked into position. If they're installed, then they're in the right way. Okay. Alright, that rail is loose. And that one's also loose. So these are just kind of in position, waiting to be tightened down. JLC PCB is legit? Yes, we have third parties agreeing. I do like JLC PCB, but you never know. I might like some other stuff in the future. Okay, time for the Y rails, which are going right here. So for the Y rails, I forget which one I need to use for that. I think the Y rails need preload. These two feel preloaded. They all feel the same to me. I think there was markings on the preload. Oh yeah, this one's the 3. So that one's 3. There's like little markings on the inside of these linear rails. So I'll get the 2 that are I think 2 of them are marked with a 3. So I'll use both of those on the same one. This one's a 2. And this one is a 2. Okay, yeah, 2 of them are marked 2, so I'll use both of those for the Y rail. And I'll use the one that's marked 3 for the X rail. Okay, so for the Y rail, I need some more, basically the exact same stuff. So M3x12s. Oh, okay, and I need 12, so I think every single hole will be occupied or close to that. Wow, that's going to be a lot of these. It's probably going to be most of these. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 3, 4, 5. 10, 12. Okay. All right, and we need some more bolts. 24 of them to be precise. All right, 12 there. I'll get these 3D print parts out of the way because I don't need them yet. But again, all these white ABS parts were printed on my K1C, and they all turned out pretty good. Okay. I'm going to count some more bolts. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So every single hole here is going to be occupied with a nut and a bolt. I don't know why the Z gets every other hole and these ones get every single hole. But I'm not going to ask questions here. I'm just going to build it to spec. Okay, and then these rails, I think they go on the side. Let me look at my picture. Yeah, these go on the side here. Like this. Okay. Slow and steady wins the race. There we go. Next. Another sponsor that you may know is FlexiSpot. Producers of fine 3D, no, not 3D printers, producers of fine stand-sit electronically adjustable desks. Hey Lemur Hayes, thanks for joining. So Lemur Hayes just joined the chat. He's the designer of this printer, so his advice is invaluable. All right, got all those loaded up. I'm not tightening these down, I'm just getting them, getting those screws screwed in most of the way. Here we go. Oh. I may have gotten myself into a situation here. Oops. There we go. Okay. It was only a minor situation, so we're good. Okay. That's all good. I'm gonna put some little stoppers in here to prevent the rails from flying off the edge. And then we'll move on to the other side. Putting all those bolts in. Okay, Lemur is saying that I might have a better time building the entire Y-frame off of the printer, so I might pop it off at some point. But for now, it's pretty easy to access these things that I'm working on. And when it becomes too inconvenient, I will undo the 4 bolts on the bottom and take it off. I can't read the chat right now because this is a very dexterous task I'm working on. It requires all the dexterity points. I'm actually going to get a paper towel because these greased up rails have a little extra grease on them. Yes, I've got the mirror. That's so that you get the full screen goodness and you can see this from multiple perspectives. Okay, now we'll move this into the side, and then all those nuts have been attached. I think I'm going to use my handy electronic screwdriver for this. If I can find it. I might not have brought it with me here. That's a shame if I forgot it, but that's okay. Just a couple quick twists here is enough to get these tightened. Okay, that's in place. And we got the other one in place. All right, that looks good. And all right, next up, I think I might just finish up with the linear rails by putting this y-axis or the x-axis one together. This one requires different sized bolts because this is a 2020 aluminum extrusion. That's the one that you normally end up seeing on most 3D printer builds. These other pieces are 3060s, so they're a lot thicker. So the screws used for a little bit longer. But now I need to find some shorter ones for the x-axis, which means I need to consult my bolt box. And all right, here's our 2020 T-nuts. And I think I need M3 by 8 socket head cap screws, which are right here. Alright, so FYSETC kit comes with these nicely labeled bags. It's pretty easy to figure out where everything is. And let's see. According to the instructions for the X-rail, I need 12 nuts and 12 bolts. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And we'll get 12 of these as well. Sorry, I already asked this, but how's the audio video quality for everyone in the stream? Ed says I should wear a blindfold and see if LH can guide me through the build. Or I don't think that would work out very well. Okay. I think this is going to start getting a little complicated once I get to the 3D printed parts. Now I'm just going to trying to figure out what the most ergonomic way to do this is. I think this will work pretty well. Get all the nuts. The bed carriage sits at 3 millimeters over the Y extrusion. Okay. So very tight clearances there. Probably could have gotten away with a little more, little less clearance if you're feeling crazy, but 3 millimeters is like a good amount just to make sure you don't have anything rubbing. So I wonder, is LH working on any other printer designs? Or is it all hands on deck for the LH Stinger launch? Because I know the companies that are putting these kits together probably need help, like getting everything specified right. I think so far FYSETC is the only company that's building LH kits. Might be wrong there. But in any case, it's good to see this project getting some support from the manufacturers, because it makes it accessible to a lot more people when you don't have to go through the whole bill of materials and pick out all your parts, especially the like the bolts and fasteners and everything. It's hard to get those in the right quantities without having to buy 100 nuts when you only need 8. Alright, 3 more to go, and then I can slide that on the rail. Okay, and we get all these lined up and scoot them onto the rail here. Sometimes I hate this part where you're lining up all the nuts and putting them onto the rail one at a time, but with the square nuts it's a lot easier. Alright, there we go, that's lined up. And I'll just move on to the next step. Okay, now I think the next part is to do the Z-mount assembly, which is going to require some 3D printed parts, some bearings, some bolts, all sorts of stuff. So I gotta acquire all of those pieces and a motor too. So, alright, we're getting a little bit of everything here. First up, I need to find the 3D printed part. Not sure which one it is. Maybe it's this one. Maybe it's this one. Yeah, this looks like the right one. This it's got a cutout for a large pulley gear here, and the Z-axis is held by a pulley with belts. So it's a belted Z with a pulley gear reduction. So I will find the other one of those, and we'll start putting it together. it's hard to recognize these parts. So this is definitely one of them. So I just need to find something that looks exactly like this. Oh, no, it doesn't look exactly the same. I think it's got a more... yeah, I think these are the same, but this one has like an extra pulley there, or an extra spot for a thing. And that's what I see on this diagram right there. So, yep, I'll get that out, and then I'll get all the stepper motors that I need. Here's some bearings. Here's some pulleys. More pulleys. Even more pulleys. And then, let's see, for the Y, I'm assuming I've got two different sizes of stepper motors here. So one's bigger than the other. I assume the Z-axis has the smallest stepper motors because it's moving the slowest and it doesn't require the most torque. So I think these ones are going to be for our Z. Let's set this one aside. Now these ones are actually hybrid stepper motors. I was wondering what that meant in our last live stream. Right here it says, I'm not sure if you can read that, but it says hybrid stepper motor on there. And I think those are supposed to spin more smoothly at high rotational speeds. Like there's less cogging than the traditional stepper. And it looks like all of these are hybrid steppers. Yeah, I guess they're like slightly more expensive to manufacture, so that's why we don't see them as often in 3D printing, but should be an improvement, I guess. Alright, we got some keyed dowel pins, and the last bits I need, I think, are these guys right here, these large pulleys. Alright, then the last pieces I think are just going to be, oh man, I have to do heat inserts. Okay, that is going to be a bit of a challenge. I don't have my full setup. I have this little soldering iron that hopefully will be able to do the job. So we'll try it out. I do have access to a soldering iron, like a proper desktop one, so I might just end up revisiting that to insert all those, but let's see. It's saying I need a long heat inserts. So these are the long ones. And there's some short ones here that I'm guessing I'll use in other places. So heat inserts, I'm going to need 6 for the left and 4 for the right. So I'll get 10 of them out. And we're going to try and make it work with our little portable soldering iron. So I assume those are going to go in these holes. Could be a bad assumption. Oh, they go on the back side of the holes. What? Maybe? Do I need to actually melt these in place? Maybe they go on a different 3D printed part. Let's find all the bits that I need before we start melting things. Okay, so there's these pieces. These things that hold the bearings captive. Looks like I'm going to need 5 of them. And then the question is, do I heat insert them into the little piece on this side, or do I put them on the big piece on the opposite side? If LH answers the question, that'll make things easy for me, so I don't have to guess or look at the documentation, but the documentation should probably say. So, yeah, it says to heat insert them into the bottom side just like this. I'm not sure how that's going to work. Hopefully the soldering iron can go deep enough in there. Should be just about right. So I think I can get started with that. Check the guide, there's an assembly video for those. Okay. Don't guess, but yes, definitely look at the guide and check. Okay, there's a little video. Alright. We'll get that on stream so that you can see what I'm working with here. There's this little video. Hit play. And yep. It's not playing. MacBook problems maybe. But in any case, that's where the heat set inserts go. So I will go ahead and start heat setting them and inserting them. And then the bolts that end up going in there eventually are, well, I'm not sure what they are, but I'm going to get the longest bolts that I have access to right now. I think I actually brought some super long bolts. So I'm going to thread into the back side of those heat set inserts. Whoa, hello. So I'm going to thread into the back side of those inserts. That way I can heat and pull them through. And that way they should be lined up pretty nicely. Okay, so I'm just going to do all the prep work of getting those heat set inserts in the right spot. That way when I turn the soldering iron, I can just focus on going through them one at a time and getting it right. If I had a little crack torch, this would actually be a little bit easier with the way that I'm doing this. But we got a soldering iron, so let's use it. The nice thing about crack torches is you can buy them in pretty much any gas station, which I'm not sure why exactly, but I guess that's convenient. Okay, so what I'm going to do is soldering iron these up to temperature, and then we'll get them up to temperature and pull them in and get them sunk down to hopefully the right depth. So here goes nothing. It's soldering time. Oh yeah, this is ABS, not PLA, so it's taking a little bit more heat to melt these in. But it's slowly getting the job done. Okay. I think that worked. Yeah, that works. We'll just do these one at a time. It's a little slower, so maybe I can catch up with the chat while I'm doing this. Or maybe I should focus on the soldering iron. Let's see. Why do you need printed parts? Wouldn't it be better if they were all metal as well? Yes, metal parts are better. But these printed parts are pretty complex, and they'd be difficult to machine. I wouldn't be opposed to having them be made out of metal, but there's obviously some price trade-off to consider there. I think I want to push these in a little bit further. Yeah. We'll push them a little further. These bolts sticking out the back will kind of serve as alignment guides, so that makes sure that the heat set inserts are relatively happy and straight. Yeah, that's looking a lot better with it down to about that point. Okay. I have my visual reference now, so need it to go in about 2 millimeters further than I initially stopped at. Yeah, that's good. I might need to re-up my batteries at some point. These are wow, sucking quite a bit of heat into these printed parts. Yeah, this isn't the fastest process in the world. Sorry if you guys are getting bored watching me push these in with the relatively slow speed, but there's only 10 of them, and they're not taking so much time that it's worth going and getting different tools. Plus these are going to be in tension, so the heat set inserts are going to be being pulled into the part when everything's said and done, so there's not really much risk of them getting pulled out. Alright, those ones are done. Just 4 more to go on this side. Oh, nice. I can use this 1, 2, 3 block as an assembly jig. Nice and easy. With my normal soldering iron setup, I could probably do these in like 5 seconds each, but this is fine. More to go. one more. Sink in. Just let that sink in, as they say. Okay, that's pretty good. Handy little portable soldering iron. Pulled through again. Okay. Now I'll undo these screws, and we have our nice little heat set inserts in there that are nicely aligned. And we can get on with the assembly here. Okay, there we go. This project is not designed in a commercial use. I never intend to make money out of it or compare it to other printers. Well, that's fine. I'm going to compare it to every printer because it's cool and it's fast. And it's going to be worse than a lot of printers in a lot of ways, but it's also going to be better than a lot of printers in a lot of ways. So it's just fun to make those comparisons. Okay, so we get these little bearings installed like that. And then we'll get our shafts ready. Looks like it's the two long shafts that get used here. These two pulleys are identical, so it doesn't matter which one I put in which. And, okay, tighten that down. We'll see how long I can do this stream. I think I can get decently far. Definitely not going to finish it today. Okay, so those are, I'll just make sure they're tight just because this will supposedly be handling a decent amount of torque. So I want to make sure those set screws aren't loose. Alright, so those two are ready. I'm pretty sure this goes in right here, and I'll put a couple things in. I think I need this motor right here. And that will get held in with some M3x12s, pretty sure, which I was just using earlier for here. We'll get 8 of these out to hold 2 stepper motors in place. Do they use washers? Probably. I imagine they'd use washers. Yes, not finishing today means more stream content. That is correct. I'll probably do this for another 3 to 4 hours. Break to get lunch, and I'll work on some other stuff the rest of the day. But we'll see how far we can get in 3 hours. Okay, so I have to zoom in on this diagram. This diagram is of critical importance. This is what I'm going to be following. So it doesn't say what to use on the stepper motors. Yeah, I don't see where it says to do the stepper motors. Or if I need to use washers on those stepper motor attachment points. It uses a stack of 2 washers. Don't start assembling those. You need to mount them on the printer. Check the guide I posted on the vids on the Discord and build chat. Okay. Here are the vids if you can't play them. Okay, here we go. Okay. Pretty good videos here that show how to assemble this thing. Okay. Alright, I can follow instructions, especially video instructions, so they need to be assembled onto the frame before I start doing everything else. First order of business, I need to flip this. I'm going to take these 2 extrusions off the desk because I won't be using them until later. And then this is flipped 180, so we'll flip it around like this so that left and right can be respected and understood. Alright, and okay, so the right drive assembly is the one with fewer. The left drive is the one with more bearings attached to it. So I need to get these installed like this, basically, like this. Okay. Yeah, this definitely is a part that requires the videos to get right. So I'm going to make sure I do that correctly. Alright, so this is where it gets challenging. The following instructions part of the build. Normally I just go for it. Um, and I probably should have the CAD model open to consult that. LH, can you put the CAD model link in there again? I'll see if I can find it from the last one. GitHub, toolhead. The right drive assembly has slightly different attachment step where you slide in a T-nut. Make sure to check that. Okay. All right. I'm going to open up the CAD model. So here's the CAD model. It's openable in a web viewer, and you can click on any part in here and get its name. So right now I'm working on these Z-axis parts. So just being able to click on things. Oop. So yeah, there's like let's see, Z. All right, yeah, we'll activate this Z thing. Now it hides all the other parts, and I can click on the fasteners to see which one I use in which location. This is what I need. Okay, so this, right click, show properties. And that'll tell you the screw type. Yeah, so I need 2 M3 by 22s and 1 M3 by 12. So 1 M3 by 12 right here. Probably need 2 of those because it's mirrored. And then I'll get 4 M2 by 22s. Here's the M3 by 22s. And that's a less common size or for bolts. Normally in a standard bolt kit you'll get like a standard bolt assortment. You'll get M3 by 20s and M3 by 25s. You don't often get the M3 by 22s, so a little less common fastener size there. So another reason why it's good to get the kit. I think this probably could have been redesigned to use shorter fasteners. You could probably get away with M2 by 20s by sinking these bolts down a little bit further in. But it's not the biggest deal right now. Okay, so those are, M22s are in place. And then I need some M3, well, consulting the CAD model here. Oops. Consulting the CAD model. We'll see what kind of washer we need. Z. Oh, okay. There we go. That's nice. So I can do the Z drive right assembly, and then that's just showing me the parts that I'm putting together right now. This is a M4 by 9. Why is an M4 washer being used on an M3 bolt? I won't ask too many questions. I'm pretty sure it's just to spread out the load, and M4 washers are a little bit larger in diameter. Alright, so I need some of these hammerhead nuts as well. I saw 6 in the part that I'm putting together. I'm just going to get all my washers and shims and stuff out so I have access to them. I'll get all my pulleys and stuff out as well. Here's 4x9x8 shimmering. I think that might be what I use. Yeah, I think that's it. Okay, so I'll use these little guys. I'll get 2 of them out to spread the load of that little M3, this one. Okay. And then attach a hammerhead nut to each one. Okay, and this one is the left side assembly, so that goes back here. Just trying to figure out how this goes. So this goes back here, like this. Okay, yeah. Like that. Very tight assembly there. We'll get these ones prepped and ready. Okay, and then this one with the washer again. Ta-da! There we go. Oh yeah, I think I see what LH was talking about with the T-slot nut attachment process. This has to get dropped in. And then those nuts get hooked up with the bolts while they're already kind of in place. Okay. That's good. All right, what's next? I guess this goes in kind of like that. Yeah, I can see this coming together. All right. So time to do this stack up. So it looks like I need 2 5x10x1 shim rings. Which are really just washers. So 2 of those. And I will do the other side too while I'm at it. Because they're somewhat symmetric. So 2 of those there. And then bearing on each side. Then on the longer one, we'll do another bearing. And 2 more of these washers. Followed by a 20-tooth pulley. One of these. And that goes on in this orientation. This one gets 2 washers. And a pulley, and another bearing, and this one also gets another bearing. Okay, that's good. Now before I get these installed, I'm going to tighten these screws down, just because once this is installed, then I won't have access to those screws anymore. So it looks like this gets butted all the way up against the yeah, that should go all the way up against the side there. But my brackets here are holding things in a position that is not ideal, so I'll loosen these up. Move that over, get that in place. Tighten this back up. Okay. And hopefully LH isn't screaming at me in the process because I haven't checked the chat in a minute. But I think I'm on the right course for supreme victory. Okay, those are both snugly in their corners. Oops. good. We'll clamp these down. Okay. Okay, those are all tightened up. Very sturdy, well designed. Good job, LH. General chat. Yes, LH is posting a link to this lovely live stream, so thank you for that. Alright, now I'm going to read up on all of LH's feedback. Check what I wrote above. Camera angle is different and audio as well. Order of assembly is crucial throughout the entire build process. Yes. The right drive assembly has slightly different attachment where you slide in a T-nut. Got that. The M3x12 goes into a 9mm diameter washer spacer. Got that. The screws are also used as an internal skeleton steel structure that sandwiches the plastic in the middle. Sounds delicious. Screws are also, check the video, the right one. You cannot add other nuts at the same time. You need to slide one in. Good technique, that went much easier than expected. Remember to secure the mounts well before adding the bearing stack. Okay, got that, I think. The mounts hitting the brackets is a known issue. I'll check to see what's going on. So the mounts hitting the brackets was because I tightened these down before I got these in place. So I just loosened them and slid them to the other end of their tolerance, and now they seem to be fine. So now I will put these guys in place. Just like this. Okay. Alright, so what I'm going to do is put these in place. Oh yeah, that's nice. Nicely done. Okay. I'm going to put them in place and then tighten the pulley set screws down. I just need to make sure the spacing and everything is correct before I tighten those. Okay, those, I got the spacing here correct. Now I'm going to tighten these set screws down. These are so nice. The bearings that they're supplying are very smooth, so I think I will like the way they feel. Once this assembly is all bolted up. Okay, that one's good. That one's good. LH has done an amazing job making sure the bearing stack up is done correctly on these Z-axes. I haven't built an Annex printer before, but I assume this is probably similar to the design Annex uses. Might be wrong there, but seems very well designed. So let's get the rest of the stuff assembled. I just need some bolts to attach these little bearing holders in place. I think they'll be slightly longer M3 bolts, so let's see which one I'm supposed to use. So oh, I probably need to get the belts for the, oh no I don't even need to do that. I was going to say I need to get the belts for the steppers all sorted out, but since it's open on the side here, I should be able to manage this belt path pretty easily, even with this all assembled. And I think the Z-axis is going to use just a string belt that I can thread in there afterwards. It's not going to use a closed loop belt. So that looks good. I just need to figure out what size fasteners to use for this, these bolts. And I'm just consulting the CAD model. It says M3x30s. So we'll get the M3x30s out and get that part for the assembly finished. I'll find the M3x30s one of these days. If not, I have extras. I've done a terrible job of organizing everything, so I may lose a bag here and there, which is not to be blamed on the FYSETC kit. That's just my organization habits. There's the M3x45s. There's gotta be the M3x30s around here somewhere. Here we go. Oh, these are button head cap screws. M3x30s. M3x22s. M3x30s, yeah. Socket head cap screws. Button head cap screws. I'm going to use my stash of random parts. I doubt I'm going to blame this one on myself, not on the kit. I'm sure the kit has the M3x30s. I just have been losing a lot of stuff lately, so I'm going to use these bolts that I have separately, and I'll probably find those other ones later. And I'll just restock this box with them. So I need 6 on one side and 4 on the other. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay. Okay. What I like about the way these all these bearings are set up is they're loaded properly. Like they're not carrying an axial load or anything like that. It's just the efficient way to set bearings up so they spin properly. Which makes me happy. Alright. Those are going in nicely. Those threaded inserts I put in earlier are doing the trick. I kind of prefer these stainless steel fasteners on the white 3D printed parts. I think it looks better. So I don't even mind. Oh. This one's got a little bit of melted plastic in the way, I'm assuming. Everybody loves this noise. It's like nails on the chalkboard. I think I just melted some of the plastic into the threads when I was doing this specific threaded insert. So it's making a lovely noise, and it's a little more resistance when I'm tightening this down. Sorry about the noise, everyone. Hopefully that's the only one that's like that. So what do you think of my color scheme? I got black and white. This one's also making the noise. My most sincere apologies. Feel free to mute if you can't handle the noise. A little squeaky noise. Okay, there we go. But this is threading into a nicely sized heat set insert, so I'm not worried about the extra torque that I'm having to apply to get all this in place. Just as long as you're not like super clamping down onto these plastic parts, it should be fine. But even still, these parts are built to be pretty robust and to handle the clamping load. Okay, there we go. And look at that spin. Woo-wee, that's nice. It won't spin for days. Maybe I over-tightened some of those bearings, but yeah, that's nice. Let me loosen this up just a little bit and see if that... No. I think this is fine. Very good overall. Okay. Other side. I'm gonna get caught up on the chat. I was getting into this So again, check the markings on the top part, they're slightly different. Oh, these ones? These are slightly different? I don't know which top part you're speaking of. Small printed parts that go over the bearings, they're all slightly different. They look the same to me. So what's different about them? Noises of an engineer at work. Oh, yeah, I mean, it's just to fill up some of the frame. And it's just there, so, and I'm hanging the phone on it. I could replace it with like a painting or something. Or maybe like a playlist of my videos. So it sounds like LH bears no responsibility for the horrible noises that the parts were making as I was assembling it. Apparently some of the parts are different, these little bearing caps. But I got them installed and they seem to be working fine. Some are the same color, but some are the same, some could be different. They might work though. Okay. I don't read all the instructions, so sometimes I get things a little wrong. Look at those spin. That's nice. Okay, that's going to be very nice and smooth when I get everything set up. It's going to be working great. Oh, this one looks like it has a little slop. I think there might have been a little... Yeah, this one has a little slop side to side. I think the bearings are a little loose in there. So I might need to like shim those bearings to get rid of that slop. I think for now I'll just ignore it, and if it causes issues I'll fix it. This one seems to maybe have some slop, but it's not really very noticeable. This one definitely has some. I'll see if tightening these down a little more will help. No, it's not gonna fix it. But when I get the stepper motors on here and they're applying tension, I think that'll probably take up that slop so that it's not an issue. It could result in a little bit of misalignment though, which wouldn't be great, but I think it might be fine. And if there is an issue, I can just reprint these parts with a slightly different tolerance or put a little bit of tape around the bearings so that they seat and are more sturdy. I'm just going to leave it for now though. I think it's not going to be too much of a problem. Okay, time to install our motors. It's going just like this. Yeah, maybe I used the wrong parts. So yeah. So how am I supposed to tell the difference between the different bearing holders? They all look the same to me. those are some of the easiest parts to reprint, so I can reprint them if I need to. Okay, I'll check the Discord, image guide, build chat probably. Okay, it says don't forget to check these markings. A and B. Okay, so they're marked A and B. Let me get a light so I can read them. Okay, light. We need light. So I printed these in white ABS, so it's kind of hard to read the text on them. That's probably why I didn't notice the markings. Alright, so this one says C on that side. This one's B. Yeah, I can see there's like small amounts of misalignment. Okay. Alright, I'll have to take all these apart then. A, C, D. Alright. Not sure where that came from. Okay. I think this came out of my kit of my fastener box. Just fell out when I was messing with those whatevers. Okay, so time to undo these and put them together in the right order. My electric screwdriver would be really handy for this. I'm going to see if I can find that too. I need to be making things easy for myself. Here we go. Electric screwdriver time. Okay. So this one's B. All right, the ones on the right side have a dot before the A and the B. Okay. Maybe, I know this is just me not reading the instructions and getting this wrong, but if there was like some notches or something I could line up, that would tell me where things go on the other part, then I could just follow the instructions that way. Just make it a little more dummy proof. Okay. Alright, so this one's dot A. This one's B. This one's A. This one's also B. And this one's C. So let's make sense of these and get them installed in the right place. Okay, so I'll get some contrast on them. I'm not sure if this will show up on stream, but here's dot A, C, B. This one's also B. This one's A. It's possible that the dot B got removed in the slicer somehow, just from the dot being too small. Let me see if there's, there's no dot B, but I'll use the process of elimination to figure out which one's which. I sliced these in Orca slicer, so and I tried to use the profile settings that were specified. If I had to guess, this one would be a dot. I don't know. Maybe I printed out the wrong parts. Here we go. This one's dot B. Okay. Okay, so we got A, B, C, and dot A, dot B. So let's get them in the right order. Looks like the according to what I'm seeing on the instructions here, dot A should go like this, and dot B should go like this. All right, let's see if that does any better. It's still wobbly. So maybe I need to yeah, it feels like there's too much slop inside of the bearing holes, so they're a little bit oversized, which is letting the bearings like float back and forth like this. I noticed in the CAD model they're a little oversized, which is supposed to like allow the ABS to shrink. I'll fix the issues today. Might as well add some tape shims to the parts. Yeah. I'll add some shims. Might as well. While we're at it, it comes with all this capped on tape, which is pretty good stuff. And just for record, I'll measure what these, the spacing on these is. So it looks like it says, well, it's really hard for me to get an accurate measurement here because I've dropped these calipers a lot, but maybe like 16.2 versus the bearing diameter is 16.9, well, basically 16.00. It's 15.99. So it looks like it's got 0.2 millimeters of extra material in there. This tape is 0.02, so I would need quite a few layers of tape to soak up that extra material requirement. So I will need to wrap this 5 times. One. Two. 3. 4. Now, this obviously isn't ideal to go through these tape shimming steps, but you gotta do what you gotta do sometimes. I could reprint the parts as well with the tighter tolerance on there. So I just did like 3.5 wraps out of a calculated 5 I needed. I guess I can just measure what this is. Yeah, now this is 16.25, so yeah, 3.5 wraps seem to do the trick. Probably 3 would have done it. Okay, so I'll pull this one off, put this one on. And that should fit a lot tighter. Alrighty, one wrap. If there's like pre-cut strips of tape like this, that would be pretty handy too. And that way I could just wrap these in a matter of seconds instead of having to get it off the spool. So what is the CAD model? What diameter does the CAD model specify? Because that might also be a good indicator of how accurate the K1C is. Because I'm curious to get some information on how good that printer is. Alright, there we go. Get those in, and then we'll put A, we'll put B. B goes over here. Which I placed somewhere. There we go. It's hiding. A goes over here. We'll see if we did a good taping job. Alright, there we go. That's much better. There's still the tiniest bit of slop, but it's not like gonna be that noticeable. So yeah, I wonder if you could use 4 points of contact instead of a full ring, so that it'll kind of, and design it to actually squish down a little bit or clamp. That's just something to think about for the future. But for now, let us commence with the assembly. I'm going to open up that CAD model again and look for those markings this time. Okay, so A goes over here, faced into the corner. B goes here, and C goes here. And this one, since it has 3 bolts, 3 clamps holding into position, and hold on. That's in place. This one, since it has 3 clamps holding it into position, just the way that the tolerancing works out, it'll find, you'll find that the more constraints you add to a part, the less likely it is to go together, but also it kind of reduces the amount of slop if you did design it with clearance. So all right, well, that was a worthy investigation to see what's going on with this part of the design, and I think it should end up a better printer. If not in the overall design, then at least in my copy of the design, because we went through that. Okay, and we'll put the final torque on here. I'll just use the just use the screwdriver to apply the same torque to all of these bolts. And these M3s don't need a ton of torque to produce a ton of clamping force. So this screwdriver isn't the strongest thing in the world, but I think it's going to do a fine job of holding this together. Yeah, there's still just a tiny bit of slop, but like before it was super noticeable. Now you might not even notice it if you're not paying attention. So that's good enough for me. Let's put these stepper motors in place. So steppers have the cables exiting out the back. So we'll go on just like this. This one will go on just like this. And yes, I use the smaller stepper motors here. So, do these ones require washers? I would assume so. And I'll check the model. Yeah, they have washers. So they're using M3 washers. This FYSETC kit calls washers shim rings on the labeling. So if you're looking for a washer and all you see is shim rings, that's fine. Just use the shim rings. Just look at the dimensions and make sure they're the right size. Alright, I'm gonna get caught up with the chat, see what you guys are talking about. I wish Nathan got rid of that mirror. Is it that bad? If it's not the printed parts, then the shafts could be undersized a bit. No, it's not the shafts. The shafts fit the bearings nicely. It's just the interface between the printed parts and the bearings that I think is causing the issue. Okay, Lemur, thanks for joining. Sorry, he's probably gone already, but yeah, your help on these streams is always appreciated. Okay, there we go. The Happy Extruder. Morning, Mad Cat. Good to see you. I'm not dropping the screws. I've dropped a couple actually, but it's not too bad. Yeah, Max. Lemur designed this printer, so LH, Lemur Hayes, that's what the LH stands for. The CAD model he provided is like really next level stuff. You can zoom in on sub-assemblies and see what all the parts are. They have identifying properties and it's just really good. You can sort of lean on it to help with the assembly of this printer. One thing that the Voron community does really well is their documentation is so thorough with the way that they have everything laid out that you don't need to use the CAD model. And with this one, you might want to take a look at the CAD model from time to time because the documentation isn't like quite at the same level. But the CAD model is really good, so it kind of like it at least gives you a really good resource to be able to put this together. Help in the assembly. Okay. All right. You said not to drop the bolts, but you didn't say anything about dropping Allen keys, so I went ahead and dropped one. There we go. Okay, that's all done. We got our Z-axes all set up nicely. Now I think I'm going to do the idlers on the other side that go up top here. Okay, so these ones are marked according to the instructions. Okay, so here's the top pieces, and then there's little pulley holders that go inside of these. I'm not sure what they look like, but we'll figure it out. Okay. Ooh, this fits nicely. Yeah, okay. I just randomly put that part in the other part and it seemed like that's the right spot for it. So there we go. So these are the idlers that get attached to the top that provide belt tension. Okay, and then we'll need some more of these shafts right here. And some pulley idlers. Oh. Okay, I just switched it to live chat. Instead of top chat. I need to eat some candy to help, I don't know, just because. Hey 3D Medic, we're working on the LH this morning. We'll probably go for another hour or two. Okay, so let's get these idlers put together. Here's the picture I'm going off of. And let me open up the CAD model so you can see what that's all about. So it's all broken up with sub-assemblies here. So right now I'm looking at the Z drive assembly. And you can click on things. And it shows you the name of the component. So just really thorough CAD documentation. So all the fasteners are labeled that way. But let's look at belted Z, or Z tensioner left. That's what we're working on now. So I can see all the fasteners, I can click on them and see in this little properties window what each one is. And then I've got this little picture over here on the right too. So that's kind of the documentation I'm working with. Seems pretty nice. All right, so, oh yeah, the other thing I wanted to check on the CAD model is how much tolerance is built into these holes. So I'm just gonna open up, isolate this part and click on this feature, measure, I want to measure the diameter of this shoot. I want to see what the diameter of this hole is. I think I had a Discord conversation about this before. It says 16.3 millimeters, and the parts that I printed on the K1 came out at 16.2 millimeters on the K1C. So they came out pretty accurate, and I guess they shrunk less than what they were expecting in the CAD model there. Okay, time for Z tensioner assembly. So let's do it. So I'm gonna need 3 of these T-nuts for each tensioner. We need a idler, a toothed idler. For each. Some button head cap screws, a heat set insert of the short variety. So we need 2 of these, one for each idler. All right, what else? I think I can finish up the Z and the Y today, and maybe the X. The X would be our stretch goal. But if we can get all those belts, more or less sorted, I think that'll be a good start. I'm going to get the belts put onto these little guys just because that's easy to do and it makes it look more complete. so we have like this big piece of belt. There's got to be more belts here. I may have lost some of the belts. Nope, nope. Here's some belts. Ah, yeah, here's the rest of the belts. Okay, so these closed loop belts go on the gear reduction here. Okay. All right, that slips on there. And this slips on here. There we go, that looks good. We got those belts in place. Now let's do the tensioners. I just need to put some, I think, where does that go? Oh. Okay. So it doesn't even go in this piece, it goes in another piece, which I should have in a box somewhere. This. And this. These are tensioner. These are all tensioner thingies. So I'll just melt one of these little nuts into it. Now they could have gotten some off-the-shelf little like thumb screws, thumb nuts, but they went with the printed route. I'm not completely opposed to that because then you get to customize what color it is, and that could be a cool little thing to customize. Just because that's a touch point and it's an adjustment point, so it's like, oh cool, I can color those little knobs a different color. That could be fun. But it's just white like everything else on this print, and I'm fine with that for now. So I'm going to use my soldering iron again, and we'll just sink that in very slowly. Okay, those are done. Okay, so then we need some bolts. Let me get all that ready. So got the idler. I need a 25mm shaft. This is 25. So 2 of these. 3030 M3 T-slot nuts, got those already. M3 hex nut. I can get that. So 2 of these. This little ultrasonic cleaner is also serving as temporary fastener storage, so it's a multi-use device. I can leave a link to this if anyone's interested in one of these. I don't know, I thought it was pretty neat. When I looked at ultrasonic cleaners before, they were like 80 to 150. This one was like 30 bucks or 40 bucks on Amazon, which is nice. Okay, so now we need 2 M3x10 button head cap screws. All right. All right, these are M3x10 button head cap screws. Get 2 of those. And 1 screw socket head, 14 millimeters. And 1 button head, 20 millimeters. Okay. These are button head cap screws, 2 of them. These are the 20 millimeter length. And last thing I need is the M3x14. M3x14 socket head cap screws. All right, 2 of those. Yep. Okay, so let's get this put together. Uh-oh. I just lost power, but we're doing it live anyways. We have battery powered everything. So let's just keep this party going. Oh, power came back on. Cool. Never mind. Hopefully the live stream was unbothered by our little power issues. Yeah. The humming stopped. Okay. Well, we're all good. So let's keep going. Let's see. Okay, so I have everything I need. I just need to gather my thoughts. All right, this goes in here. Oh, wait, I should put a screw in back here. So we get this longer button head cap screw. Yeah. And this just gets attached here. Just like that. Cool. So that gets in there, and then this gets pushed through. let's, okay. All right, let me get both of those put together, and I'll move on to the next step. Oh yeah, this ultrasonic cleaner is not big enough for like large stuff. It's nice for me because I like having smaller tools for using on 3D printers. There we go. Okay, that's in. And oh, let's see. I might have needed to add some. I don't need to add any washers or spacers in there. Oh no, it does want me to add washers and spacers. Note, mounts have been updated to use built-in spacers and don't require shims anymore. Oh. I don't see any built-in spacers on this, but maybe they're there and they're just really subtle. It looks like there's like tiny bumps on here that might just be due to ringing. I think this does require spacers, so I will put them in. I'm gonna need some really small shims. I think I saw some around here. Where are my tiny shims? Oh, here we go. Oh, this is empty. Okay. Well, I think I'll just leave the shims out. It's not that difficult to take this back apart and put them in if I need them. Okay. Alright, let's get back on track. The spooky power outage threw me off, but we can keep going. These press fits are really nice. not having to use any fasteners to hold these in place, and also getting the superior benefits of press fitting with the precision and all that. It's good to have. Okay, so that's in place. And then these get attached up top like this. So just got to figure out where the fasteners go. Okay. All right, so I think the longer ones go here. This is tough. We got our button head cap screws that go in through the sides. One there, one there, okay. All right, and then we've got a longer one that goes in right here. Okay, just like that. And I have to get the top part of this rail installed now. So I'll do that. Okay. This is getting increasingly confusing, so my commentary is slowing down. So my bad, guys. Okay, so that goes in there. I need my button head cap screws. I didn't get enough of them out of the bag. M3 button head cap screws, 10 millimeters. Okay, that goes in. Okay, and then get this one in. This is a little, it's a little tricky to install. It's nothing that you're gonna like freak out about, but you have to think about what you're doing a little bit as you put this part together. Okay, so I've got my my tensioners in here. Then this all goes on the top like this. That slides in place, and these have to, these get lined up like so. Okay. That goes there. Lining everything up. Idlers have to go in at the same time. Okay. Okay. Come on, Stinger, you can do it. There we go. Okay, everything's all together now. Now, before I can tighten this all down, I need to have the x-axis attached, because the way that this works, basically, if this is skewed or, you know, trapezoidal at all, like it needs to be a perfect square for this frame to work. If it's skewed out like that, then it will force the X gantry to change length as it moves up and down, which is just not going to work. So yeah, I'm going to have to save the final adjustments until I have the X gantry installed, basically. Alright, so that's not too bad. I'm just going to get these idlers roughly tightened into position, and there'll be plenty of adjustment that I'll need to do later to get it just right. Okay. All right, so let's take stock of everything we've done so far. I'm gonna put these idlers in their little slots. Just this one goes on the right. And this one goes on the left. Okay. And let's take a look at this thing. I think it's finally starting to look like a 3D printer. Maybe like this. It looks like a 3D printer, doesn't it? Okay, so we've come a decent way so far on this stream. I'm thinking about doing the x-axis now. I think that's the last one that I think really should go together. Then the y-axis. Then I have to do the whole electronics box, which is its own thing. But what do you think so far? TX, I get, oh yeah. TPU hammer for that? Yeah. Small dead blow hammer. I could just use my palm for TPU filled with lead, sand, or birdshot. Could be fun to build one of those. Okay, so at this point I'm thinking about the x-axis, and then after that I think I'll have to take a break for mental health reasons. It says the next one on the to assemble list is the y-axis, so maybe I'll follow that advice and just do the y. So let's get started with that. It says I need 3 long heat set inserts. So let's just get everything prepped for that. Oh, this says short? Oh. No, this is short. This one says threaded insert short, but I'm pretty sure this is the long one. So that's a typo. Okay, 3, I only got 2 out. Learning how to count is the first skill you should figure out before you start one of these kits. Okay, so 3 of those. Pulley for 9mm belt. And there's 2 of these. There's basically it's the same Y driver on the front and the back. So I need to double all the part counts. So let me get this one back out. Need 3 more of these. Okay, NEMA 17. We'll get those stepper motors ready. Alright, so I've got these stepper motors, 24B20, 4064, 06C. Yeah, I think these are all the same stepper motor, so I'll just get 2 of them. I assume the last one's going to go on the y-axis, or the x-axis. So we'll get 2 of these. Let me clear off the desk a little bit here. We need a small sanctuary. So 2 of those, 6 of these. I'll stand them up so they don't roll all over the place. Yeah. Okay, 6 of those, 2 of these. Idlers for 9mm belt. We got 2 of those. Um, 30mm by 5mm shafts. Got 2 of those. 2 bearings. 2 M3 by 6 button head cap screws. I'm just gonna get all the fasteners. There we go, M3 by 10, no. Oh, M3 by 6 button head cap screws, okay. We can find this. There we go. M3 by 6 button head cap screws. We need 2 of those. M8 by 16 button head screws. Alright, so M8s are huge. That should be pretty easy to find. Oh, and here's the M3 by 30s that I was having trouble finding earlier. They were missing. I didn't think they would be. M8. Here we go. They're in this unlabeled bag, but I think I put them in here. This was parts that I thought were extras. So they come in a labeled bag as well, but we need 4 of those. M3 by 30s. We need 6 M3 by 30s. All right, 2 M3 by 35s. I think I saw those in here. M3 by 35 socket head cap screws, okay. Here's M3 by 45s. Oh yeah, I need 2 of these anyway, so I'll get 2 of these. And the last thing I need is 4 M3 by 35. There we go. We need 4 of them. Okay, here we go. Just print already. All right, thanks, John. That's very helpful. If I wanted to print already, I'd use one of my other printers. I have a Bambu Lab A1 Mini and a Creality K1C, just begging to be used right now. I also have access to an X1C if anyone wants to see some Bambu Lab bougie expensive printer action. All right, so let's get started with this part. I think this is the printed piece I need. It looks like it's multiple pieces kind of stuck together. Okay, here's one. Here's the other. And what gets bolted to this? It's kind of an L-shaped piece like this. And this. There we go. Here's our pieces. The printed pieces. Alright, so first thing I want to do is for some reason these videos aren't playing on my screen. I don't know if it's the browser I'm using or operating system. I'll see if I can save the video and open it. It says file wasn't available on site, so I can't use the video to help me out, so I'm going to have to figure this out on my own. So I think these pieces get bolted together like this. These ones get bolted together like this. That looks pretty good. Now I just need to figure out where these threaded inserts go. I think I'm going to consult the CAD model. CAD model will help me. Your printer, the printer you're building is basically ready to use right now. Just turn it on and print already. Yeah, I know. I'm trying to stretch this out into a 3-part series. All right. So I'm going to go to the CAD model here. Close up that. We're going to look at the y-axis. Break this into the y motion system. No. Y power system. Alright. So now we can see all of the components in the y powertrain. I'll just zoom in here and find where those heat set inserts go. They're hidden by these there we go. So I need to hide some of these. So I think I can hide selected. Hide selected. Alright. So there's 2 of the heat set inserts. Where's the last one? I'm only seeing 2. Ah, there's one on the back side of that part. Let's see what we can do. Alright. So These two holes get heat set inserts. Nice. Okay, I'm going to get these started so that yeah, I'll get these started so that when I turn the soldering iron on, I can just go. My soldering iron has limited battery life. It runs on AA batteries. So when I turn it on, I want to just solder everything immediately and not waste any of that precious heat energy. There we go. So a good way to get these heat set inserts started is to thread them onto a bolt like this with a couple turns of thread, and then you got a lot of leverage to smush them in. At least get them press fit into the holes that they will be melted into. So that when I come back with the soldering iron, it should be real easy. Now this one I'm actually going to do what I did before and have some bolts coming in from the back side to help line these up, just because I don't want them being skewed. But yeah, after this, I can't do more than this for live streaming. This is rough, man. Normally when you're doing this stuff, you naturally take breaks and chill out a little bit. When I'm live streaming, I'm just going 100% of the time for your entertainment. I don't want to just be like, yeah, I'm going to go lay down on the couch for 20 minutes while I think about what I'm going to do next. I'm just going. We're building things. Robots even. Alright, let's see how chat's doing. Yes. We have a dead chat. This is the difficult part of live streaming, when you realize nobody's actually paying attention, but you gotta keep going, because this is going on my permanent YouTube record to be able to look at this video. Off to work. Alright, John, have fun. Yes, thank you, John. You'll see the results eventually. It will be done at some point in time. But yeah, maybe I shouldn't think so much. I should just go just sit here and push buttons. Alright, we got all these lined up. Time to heat set. These ABS inserts take a lot of heat. Each one takes like a full minute. And this soldering iron's battery is probably dying. There we go. That's good. And for the next one. The slow stab of a low wattage soldering iron pushing heat set inserts. All right, that's good. Being forced to use heat set inserts on these last couple kit printer builds has really made me a lot more comfortable with using them, so I might end up adding them to my future products or projects because they're quite nice. I've used them before, but I used the old school type that weren't really optimized for heat setting. I was using the injection molding type that had a different, like, melting, bonding area look to them. And they worked fine, but they were harder to get to go in properly. The other thing is maybe this is working better because I'm using ABS parts now. Maybe ABS is just a little bit more responsive to these heat set applications. Or maybe I'm just printing out parts that are designed better. Okay. Alright, so we get that pushed through, and then I just make sure that it's somewhat straight coming out the backside before it solidifies. Looks good to me. There we go. set's complete. Let's assemble this thing. Alright, thanks TNX, you lurker. Yeah, I think I would have more success building the printer on like I don't know, a cafeteria tray at McDonald's. Okay, so heat set inserts are installed. Next up, let's get to whatever the instructions tell me to do next. Since I don't have the assembly video, or it's not running on my machine, no, this looks complicated. Well, I know all the fasteners are right here, so it shouldn't be that hard. I'm going to be leaning on this CAD model quite a bit. Okay, so the wire comes out at the bottom. The idler probably goes right here. Yeah, this looks like where the idler goes. Yes, but does the idler get spacers? Mounts have been updated to use built-in spacers and don't require shims. I don't know about that. I must have got an older version of the parts that don't have the spacers yet. Because mine appear to require spacers. These washers are too wide, so they're kind of rubbing. They're not working as proper bearing spacers. So maybe I'll just take all of these pieces and put them in a little box for later. That would be good for my mental health. Okay, so we're just gonna put all of this stuff in a box for later. I did put a couple of heat set inserts in there, so hopefully I'll be able to reuse those, but maybe not. I might just need to get some spacers. I'm going to ask LH if I can 3D print the spacers. I'm going to look at the CAD model too to see what exactly those included spacers look like. Yeah, my parts don't have that. There's like a little, I probably downloaded an old parts list, so you can see right in there, there's a little bump built into the model for a little spacer. And the parts that I have don't appear to have that. Yeah, they don't have that bump in there. So I'll consult LH and see what to do with that. I think the easiest thing would probably be to 3D print a tiny little spacer to throw in there, but that's not happening right now for reasons. Alright, and then what else do I have here? This goes in. Yeah, this goes in here as well. And I got one more piece that looks like this. There we go. So there's all my parts. I will approach the y-axis later. Honestly, I could probably do the x-axis right now, but I just need to take a little break. So thanks for watching, everyone. I'll see what's going on in the chat. Yeah, the live stream has been going. It went pretty well. I mean, I like having the live streams for this kind of stuff because, I mean, otherwise I just would be working on this and not making any content. So a little content's better than no content at all, I think. And eventually we'll have this thing together. Okay, well, I think that's all for now. Thanks for watching, everyone. And I will make a couple videos for you to watch later today. So, see ya. End stream time. The stream is over.